The British Academy Awards introduced by Michael Aspel. Which of these films will be voted best of the year? Which actors have given the best performances? Who will receive the TV awards for the best entertainment, drama and comedy programs? A host of star names will be presenting these and many other awards to the winners live on Sunday, March the 16th at 8 o'clock. The British Academy Awards on LWT.
No, I don't believe it. All you've got going for you, a bit of money, a job, and you take that bigger risk. But it's different, that sort of thing. Well, sometimes you don't think. You've got to think every time. Contraception isn't a game of chance. It has to be your choice. Think about it.
For information on contraception now, phone 928 5656.
Tomorrow on 4, a marriage in crisis.
Beth wants your advice. I've told her you know all about children.
Because Jake is the most fabulous husband and father. Do you love me?
I wouldn't be here if I didn't.
You'd always be here if you did.
You had an abortion, didn't you? Shall I tell you why? He made you have it so that he could keep Beth.
What would you say was the difference between Jake and your previous husband?
They weren't necessary.
Anne Bancroft stars with Peter Finch in the 60s drama The Pumpkin Eater, tomorrow night at 10:15 on Channel 4.
Now on LWT, it's time for Night Thoughts with Jenny Carpenter.
Lots of people think the churches are against things. After all, 8 out of the 10 commandments begin with, "Thou shalt not." Let's show them they've got it wrong. Jesus had a zest for living that leaps out from the gospel record. He liked to quote the positive summary of the commandments in Deuteronomy. "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and soul and mind and strength. And you shall love your neighbor as yourself." He commanded his followers to love one another as I have loved you. For Jesus, living was all about loving God and loving his neighbor, loving God's creation too. We talk about living a life of love. He put it into practice. His loving obedience to God, which developed from his reliance on prayer, was the mainspring of his loving concern for everyone he met. Because he loved so deeply, without reserve, he lived gloriously. Death could not extinguish a love like that. God raised him to life. Soon his friends discovered that they were alive with his life. They fully shared his purpose, his obedience to God, his love for friend and enemy alike. They discovered the power to preach and heal in his name. Their joy was infectious. Others joined them, committing their lives to Jesus. It's still the same. Millions of Christians are sharing in the life in all its fullness that Jesus came to bring, a life that death cannot extinguish. That's what Jesus came for, that we might be alive with the life and love of God. Good night.
Now a last look at tomorrow's weather forecast for the LWT area. Sunday will start cold with fog patches, but the fog will slowly clear. It'll be bright for a time, but cloud will increase during the day, with rain in places by dusk. Temperatures will reach 9 degrees Celsius, that's 48 degrees Fahrenheit, and there'll be a light to moderate southerly breeze. And from tomorrow's weather to a look at tomorrow evening's programmes on LWT. At 7:15, more contestants compete for hundreds of pounds and wonderful prizes in Catchphrase. And half an hour later, at 7:45, Scylla is back to say surprise, surprise to unsuspecting people both in and out of the studio. Then in Crazy Like a Fox at 8:45, one of Harrison's clients, a wealthy eccentric, claims that a spaceship has landed in her vineyard, particularly perplexing as her son is trying to take away the family business because of his mother's so-called incompetence, and it's up to the Foxes to unravel the facts from the fiction. The ITN News at 9:45 is followed at 10 by the latest in developments on the Daily Crucible in hot metal. And then at 10:30, the South Bank show examines the making of the most eagerly awaited British film of 1986. Absolute Beginners is a large-scale musical based on the cult novel by Colin MacInnes about teenage London in 1958 and builds to a climax during the first Notting Hill race riots. It features stars like David Bowie and Sard alongside a number of unknowns. Programmes for tomorrow evening here on LWT. Well, now it's time for us to close down, but if you're not ready to do the same thing and feel like some more company, independent local radio continues programmes throughout the night, and that includes, of course, the two London stations, LBC and Capital. TVAM starts at 6:55 in the morning with Good Morning Britain, and LWT is back on the air at 9:25 with Wake Up London. So, until then, with the time at 16 minutes to 1, from me, Ruth Anders, and everyone here on the South Bank, it's good night. And finally, please don't forget to turn off your television set. Once again, good night.